Oh, that was creepy. Welcome into Pink Noise. All right. Oh, there's a little one down on the left too. Oh, it's just, there are two of them. All right, let's have a quick squiz at the setting. Partly illegal in the States to do it in well, it's illegal to do it in enclosed spaces here too. Also near bus stops, in front of restaurants and things like that. But I mean, the fact is that you can still do it in places. Just you can't affect everyone else with your bullshit. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, in other words, don't put your shit on other people, because I don't want to get lung cancer because you can't control yourself. Like, I think that's a fair and reasonable expectation, and it should have always been the thing. Australia banned smoking in most public spaces pretty ahead of the curve, honestly. And it's not really been a drama. Oh no, you can't smoke in restaurants anymore. Have a little lung cancer as a treat, right? There is nothing in here to turn off. Oh, there's a next screen. Are there more? No? There's a... I'm having a real hard time figuring out whether... I can go to back, but I can't go next. So I don't think there is any way to disable visual effects in the game, which is a concern. Let me try that again without my ranting in front of it. Alrighty, welcome into Pink Noise. This is a sponsored stream the game key very kindly provided to me through Press Engine. I've just had a quick squiz at the settings through here, and I can't see anything that is gonna allow us to disable the screen effects. So I guess I'm gonna have to update, but there should be a probably a migraine warning for the way that the text and stuff is displayed, because there seems to be a lot of let me update that. Okay. Man, that's kind of... I get you want your game to look a certain way, but you do still need to actually show some thought and consideration. Pugs collection? Oh, they're like pogs, but they've named them pugs for copyright reasons. All right, let's have a look at this. Please let me know if the volume is good, bad, indifferent. Fall comes to Riverwood with chilling winds and the first drizzle. A bleak mist obscures the narrow streets, clinging to the rooftops, tangling in the bushes, swirling around fields. Fog and murky blackness suit the peculiar suburb. Nestled amidst the forest and mountains, it's a decaying, quiet place waiting for the winter. As the evening wears on, the town is wrapped in a thickening twilight, with only a few streetlights serving as solitary islands of illumination in an ocean of darkness. One such evening, ordinary and cold, 4 teenagers are strolling around an old park, engrossed in a lively discussion. The first fallen leaves rustle underfoot. As the wind reaches the trees, their branches groan out a long, plaintive creak, as if already lamenting the loss of their motley attire. I'm sorry, there's an aeroplane outside. Two of the teenagers, a tall boy and a fair-haired girl, walk hand in hand. Their friend carefully hops from one paved slab to the next, balancing as though a bottomless chasm might yawn open beneath them. A quiet, stooping boy in glasses trails behind them, casting glances at the road. Ahead, the street splits in two, then veers sharply out into a wasteland. Just a half-century before, a tiny school stood there, now only barely discernible foundation and heaps of broken bricks choked by stubborn vines remained to remind them of its erstwhile existence. Year by year, students have taken that path, carrying with them their thoughts and fears, high hopes and grand dreams, from tough exams and first crushes to bullies bonked on the head, or simply yearnings to be the star player of a local team. Be it aglow in autumn gold, cloaked in verdant summer green, or blanketed beneath snowdrifts, Riverwood will never forget them, just as they'll never forget their town and its secrets. The older a place grows, the more mysterious mysteries it keeps locked away. One of the girls leaps into the distorted blur of light cast by an old street lamp.
Ain't gonna catch me.
Eva wipes shadowy webs off her cardigan, the gossamer threads only she can perceive. She glances at the overgrown bushes, which have long since forgotten the tender care of gardening she is.
No chow time tonight, besties.
The other girl scoffs at her friend's silly gestures.
If Brian was as agile as you, we wouldn't have been stuck in school after dark. The chemistry room's never been so tidy.
She wriggles her fingers to demonstrate, her palms red and wrinkled from hot water.
It's not my fault Mrs. Hopstone didn't save enough teeth to avoid spitting and lisping. Besides, she should have explained it better. The bottle must have been left open.
Actually, she explained just fine, but you still put 3 chlorine tablets in the rubbing alcohol instead of 1. Surprise, surprise, the reaction was extreme.
Yeah, that bang was something else. My left ear's still ringing.
Eva stops, hovering in the faint halo of light, and nods. She's never been reprimanded at school before today. Sure, she would have been way more upset if it hadn't been Brian's fault, but still. It's just another adventure, something her and her friends will laugh about one day, and a happy memory is worth more than any reprimand, especially when her parents will forget about it by tomorrow.
All right, all right.
He raises his hand apologetically.
Next time we team up, I won't let you down. I'll put in 2 chlorine tablets.
The group passes a row of houses as dissimilar to one another as is ever possible in a suburb. The time-worn houses' windows glow faintly in sepia tones, as though the light itself has aged and can no longer disperse the deepening darkness. The buildings they pass seem to be contending for the greatest neglect. Every other resident would be considered an eccentric in any other town. For instance, Greybone has leaned on the rusty mower on his front stoop instead of a cane for 2 decades. The abandoned duplex across the road still bears the scars of a long-forgotten fire. Its windows are boarded up. Even during the day, it has a miserable look. The teens keep their distance. What is with the cat toys?
Oh, Miss Harvitz's house.
The gloomy old lady had knitted yet another pear-shaped cat, proudly displayed on the terrace, thus expanding her ugly army.
Right, you had a cup of tea together. Did baby Tony apologize?
Once, Eva's brother had filched one of the cats and taken it home. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she had to explain herself that taking other people's belongings without permission was wrong.
No, I was the one to apologize. Miss Harvitz didn't say a word. She only gave us a cold stare and sniffed loudly. She scared poor Tony so much that he couldn't fall asleep for half a night.
You have such a giving heart when it comes to your brother. He might be raising a hell of a night. Why in the world would he want to snatch a cat, though?
He was just a little kid. He came, he saw, he took it home.
There's no need to tell her friend that Tony had intended to give Eva the cat. He knew she wanted a pet more than anything in the world. He thought he could cheer her up with at least a toy one. Oh, I'm glad Mr. Kimber is getting all the scratches. He'd never taken anything that didn't belong to him before, not out of fear of getting caught or punished. He simply found stealing shameful. Tony would sooner give away his breakfast than steal something from someone weaker than him. No doubt that kind of attitude will make school harder for him, but such is his nature. Contemplating her brother's heart of gold, Eva smiles softly. They pass by Mrs. Harvitz's terrace, curiously eyeing her odd dolls. Twilight makes the cat's silhouettes look eerie, their pearl-button eyes glimmer in the fading light as if they know secrets that have been buried too long.
If I go crazy one day, I'm gonna definitely buy a nice crib close to the park. The neighbors here match me perfectly.
Yeah, I can't stand this street. It's like it's lost in time and space. How about we head through the square?
No one protests, so she leads them onwards, sweeping into the nearest alley. A gust of wind bursts through the narrow walkway, permeating the air with the stench of raw wooden planks and rotting garbage. The houses in the alley look like they've been copied and pasted. They were likely built at the same time to house factory workers. The only thing that differs is the light in the windows, on or off, making it clear whose shift it is tonight. 2 Christmases before, Brian had gotten beaten up here. Some high school students apparently didn't appreciate his sharp tongue. They'd shoved him into a snowbank and packed snow under his sweater, but the most humiliating part was that a neighbor kicked them all out. She came out onto the doorstep with one of Brian's classmates, a cute but overly chatty girl. By the next day, the whole school had heard the story about him shaking snow out of his pants and whimpering like a puppy. He would have preferred being rolled into a giant snowman and left there like that till spring. Brian adjusts the backpack full of baseball equipment which has crawled down his shoulder and walks up to Ashley.
I'm so fed up with this stupid school. All these teachers, homework, tests.
But the year just started.
That only makes me want to study even less. There's nothing worse than coming back to school after summer.
He jumps over a puddle and takes Ashley's hand.
It's like wearing old trainers you've already grown out of. Can't wait for college. When I start working, I'll buy real catcher's gear. Or at least a better glove.
His palms still hurt from Friday's practice session. The equipment donated to their team left much to be desired.
Better buy a slugger straight away. It'll pay off much sooner. Best case scenario, you can be a bouncer at a bar.
Ashley laughs at his childishness. Brian doesn't get the complexity of the world at all.
Dad says a good job like his is hard to find without higher education.
Ashley grabs her Leo zodiac pendant. It's a nervous habit, something she does whenever she says something important. It calms her.
College is just another place to study.
This world's too cruel. Illness, starvation, school.
I like school, though.
Michael tries to squeeze into the conversation. All along, he's been trailing behind the others, glancing suspiciously at parked pickups as if they might bite. He hasn't kept up with his friends since he noticed 2 silhouettes in an old Ford. 1 male, 1 female. What? Their mutilated faces stared back at him. He could have sworn he'd heard a hoarse, gurgling whisper. The garbled words sank into his skin like windshield fragments, making his chest constrict like his ribs were breaking. Every breath pained him like his lungs were pooling with blood. Then a light flashed over one of the doorsteps, dispersing the blackness. Suddenly, both seats were empty again, and the strange vision turned into nothing but a local flour mill uniform hanging from a grab handle. Michael wipes the sweat off his forehead and listens carefully to his
Of
friends.
course. I'd love school too if I had your scores, Mikey.
Exactly.
Agreeing, Ryan quickly squeezes Ashley's hand.
Maybe I should wear glasses too. Sounds like homework doesn't look so boring through them.
Michael's not having a good time. They walk by the Murdoch's front garden onto a street flooded with pink and blue neon store signs.
You'd better stop complaining. We only have 3 years of school left. Just imagine. Life's gonna be completely different afterward. We might even lose touch.
To Eva, the idea of moving away feels like teleporting to an unfamiliar planet. So many new people, places, and interesting stories. She hasn't even explored Riverwood yet. In her mind, the town's old houses and old residents still harbor so many secrets, enigmatic and dark. In comparison, some unknown huge city feels like a bottomless well, impossible to drain, even if you had 100 years. In a future like that, it would be hard to make time for anything from the past, but she doesn't plan to forget her loved ones ever.
If friendship's real, distance means nothing. My dad calls his friends from other states every single day.
She's tempted to add that they mainly have business conversations and argue often, but they don't need to know that. In her mind, her parents are role models everyone should strive to imitate, not just her and her brother. There isn't a single family the entire town happier or more close-knit than Ashley's, and that's nothing but the truth.
Well, a couple of cornfields and state borders ain't enough to break you up.
What the hell do Ashley's dad, your love, and cornfields have in common? Look around.
Eva stops and points towards the houses swaying in the
Is there
darkness.
anything really happening up here? Crunk Jim driving his tractor into a ravine was practically the only breaking news here in 6 months.
Well, adulthood is a real challenge. People grow up, then they start to feel sorry that time flew by so fast, and they want to experience school life again.
She pauses, searching for the right words. Quoting someone else is one thing, but will she soon regret those bygone days herself? After all, Eva already recalls her early childhood with nostalgic warmth. Back then, every little thing felt like it was brimming with wonder. Now a doll is no longer a sorceress princess or a traveler from a faraway world. A toy soldier is just a piece of plastic, and a blanket no longer serves as a battlefield for alien creatures. Making stories up for others is simple, but how are you supposed to fix yourself? Maybe the older you get, the duller and more colorless the world becomes.
It's like going back to a fairy tale you weren't grateful enough for earlier.
They're just nice words, nothing more. Bring adults back to the textbooks, and they'll howl all day. I don't remember any fairy tales where the characters were forced to read Walt Whitman's poetry. What about you, Michael?
Okay, those words are purple. Is that important?
Me neither.
Okay, turn that off. The friends stroll from one store
Let's
to the...
go home, okay? Dad's on a shift today, but if he comes back to grab a bite to eat and I ain't there...
Brian scratches his neck and sticks out his tongue. Ashley laughs and punches him in the shoulder. Michael, trailing behind everyone, suddenly stops and looks at the only sign that still sparkles as brightly and cheerfully as the day it was
The
hung.
arcade's open! I doubt there's anyone there this late. We can play S-Fighter.
Usually calm and quiet, he now blossoms. Behind his thick glasses, his eyes shine with passion.
Totally! No stupid helpers, suckers, or high school jerks.
The boys lean against the dusty window, as happy as if they're meeting their idols. The girls only snort in irritation.
What? Suddenly you're not gonna run back to your crib to avoid Daddy's shellacking?
I'll risk it. There's always a chance Dad'll kick you in the head. But the chance to throw Hadoukens and not wait in a frickin' line for the game, now that's rare.
It takes so little to make them happy, doesn't it?
Ashley glances at her friend.
Play. By the way, did you hear about the arcade machine that appears in the hall by itself?
Ashley rolls her eyes. Eva's fantasies and reality have little in common. Her friend refuses to grow up. In her world, even a tattered old shoe might open its jaws and spin some ridiculous yarn, and that's exactly why Ashley adores Eva. She's so incredibly different from Ashley's over-rational parents, and from Ashley too. With her, getting bored is an impossible mission. Even if they were both locked in an empty basement, Eva would still manage to discover something fascinating there. She'd pull Ashley in and get her into trouble again. They'd giggle about it later. But Eva doesn't need to know that. It isn't like anyone can stop her anyway.
You start playing and can't stop. The game never ends. It's impossible. But you try over and over again, forgetting about eating or even going to the bathroom. Over and over again, not thinking of your parents and friends. Over and over again until
you run out of your allowance, can't afford breakfast, and stay hangry for the rest of the week because you're dumb.
Michael peels away from the glass and adjusts his lopsided glasses.
Well, that doesn't sound so scary if you got no allowance to begin with. Want to go in or what?
gosh, they're looking at us like dogs staring at a steak.
Ashley waves her hand authoritatively.
It's creepy to go home when it's so dark out. But if you win 100 tickets, me and Eva are gonna pick a prize.
It's high time for games. The spacious room is somehow stuffy, permeating with the stench of hot plastic unsuccessfully covered up by pungent berry air fresheners.
Smells like wasted time.
As if. The shack smells nothing like school.
The clamor of screensavers and demo walkthroughs melds into a terrible cacophony. No wonder the zoned-out cashier is shielding himself from it with a set of greasy cushioned headphones. The walls are plastered with posters, promotional flyers, and all sorts of paper trash. However, one ad stands out. If you beat a record, you can win tickets and exchange them for prizes. Such generosity was easily explained. With the start of the school year, kids have a bit more cash in their pockets than usual. There's no one inside except the cashier, yet the floor is peppered with trash, from crumpled soda cans to chocolate bar wrappers. The arcade closes in 30 minutes. Local kids can only hang out here at this hour in the summer. The hall is packed with all sorts of arcade machines, each game's name glowing invitingly. Clips of characters deliberately failing to beat different levels flash on the screens over and over. The boys start searching for the most interesting game. Monkey King, an arcade golden oldie. The game machine is ancient and in poor condition. The sign barely even flickers anymore. One of the buttons is cracked. Lalaga. This is was once one of the most famous games. Now this veteran arcade cabinet is used only while others are busy, or when a couple of truly insane nerds try and fail to break the record of someone named Lily the Rat once or twice a month. S-Fighter, the best game the hall has ever seen. Q and Ren are frozen on the signboard, ready to jump each other. The floor around the arcade machine is brightly polished, worn down by students' sneakers.
It's over here!
The boys run towards the machine. Hasn't yet been wrecked the way some of its time-worn neighbors have. Even so, the buttons in plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks, and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. Worst of all, instead of some thrilling music, the machine is emitting a hoary wheeze, like an old man struggling to clear his throat, and instead of pushing out a death rattle out of his rusty lungs. A piece of cardboard with blood-curdling inscription is stuck to the screen. Temporarily out of order. No, cashier cannot fix it.
God, where is your justice?
Who's the god of computer nerds? The monkey holding the barrel?
Brian grumbles something in response and Michael just shrugs.
A technician's coming, but not till at least next Tuesday. So y'all need to choose some other game. Try Road Blasters. It's the freshest here.
The cashier points at the brand new arcade game displaying a car blowing up and drowning in a fiery pixelated cloud.
Dang it!
Michael's voice trembles. He seldom lets himself betray such emotion, but Brian has his
What
back.
else have you got, other than cars?
All that and a bag of chips. If you're ranking the top 5 of Pumpkin Man, I'll give you a double prize.
He nods towards the counter.
No one really plays this trash. We've got a real shot at setting a record.
Kitty! A grey cat lounging on a chair next to another machine captures the girl's attention. 4 letters start shine on her pink collar. Lucy.
So sweet.
Hey Austin, welcome in. Cat flattens her ears and grumbles.
I bet you $5 she doesn't remember how clean hands with no cheese ball dust on them feel.
She kinda looks like the cat Mom was trying to paint last month.
Let me guess. The cat in the painting had mandibles and a pair of tentacles.
I wish. She was just in the background. Mom paints people. You know how it is.
Ashley knows. She wishes she didn't, though. Those paintings are why she prefers inviting Eva over rather than visiting her. Well, one of the reasons anyway. Happy Friday, Austin. Are you working today? They'd had a slumber party at Eva's place twice. Both nights Ashley had been plagued by nightmares. The root cause was a few masterpieces Eva's mum considered her favourites. Compared to those monstrosities, plain old horror movies were practically bright and cheery cartoons. Meanwhile, the boys approached the coin-operated Pumpkin Man machine. Instead of usual Mr. or Mrs. Pac-Man, a bright orange pumpkin is flying around tough levels eating licorice candles. Candies. Candles? The display sears their eyes with poisonous shades as a bunch of green blots chase voracious pumpkin.
What you think? Are these ghosts?
Michael peers at the sign.
Here's a hunter shooting the pumpkin with a shotgun.
They're restless hunter souls then.
Awesome. Let him catch the pumpkin. Then everyone's happy. The hunters are safe in their graves and we're home.
Brian decisively draws a handful of coins from his pockets and inserts them. The coins clatter through the machine's metal innards and settle in its stomach. The maze dissolves in pixels and rearranges itself into the first level. Its corridors are speckled with candies and the ghosts begin darting ravenously around their cage.
Back home? With no prize. I ain't leaving until we empty out the prize counter.
The cashier shudders at the thought.
We close in half an hour.
Brian winks at
Then he's gonna
Michael.
have 15 minutes left over to cry over his empty counter.
There'll be an ad starting in about 3 minutes. Oh no! So I have to get all the dots or just the big ones?
To the left!
I don't want to do this. This is difficult. Welcome in, Gigi. I don't play Pac-Man. I was never interested in it.
This time. This time.
Ah! Only got 1 life left.
To the left!
I'm going left.
way.
Fuck you. I'm going the right way. See? I don't want to do another 2 levels. You win. Why am I doing level 1 again? Is this... Stop yelling. Oh, wait, there's other... Oh.
Looking at the screen hurts. Don't you feel your head swell?
No.
Do I have to keep doing this? Can I just get a game over?
This time. This time.
I already finished this level. Why am I doing it again? Thank you.
Well, I guess we gotta be luckier next time. Who knew those ghosts would be so nimble?
I'd rather read my history book than play this flickering trash can.
Ad break will start in a few seconds, by the way. Brian pats his pockets, secretly hoping to find a couple more coins, but all that turns up are keys and a crumpled pack of Salem menthol cigarettes, which he should probably hide before heading home. He used to smoke only around the older guys on his team, hoping to look tough and grown up. Each missing cigarette in a pack, their coach made them run a lap, but that didn't deter them. As for his friends, Brian's bad habit is still a secret. They'd never approve. No doubt Ashley would call him an idiot, and Ava would just lecture him about the quicker and more entertaining ways to kick the bucket. Michael won't judge him out loud, but he'd scrunch his face up at the smoke. At that moment, Brian would gladly take a drag. The pointless game is making him snap. He feels like giving that treacherous machine a good
You
thump.
win this time, you dirty piece of iron.
Frustrated, the guys start off toward the exit, but Eva
Look what
catches
I
them.
found. Someone hung them on the toilet paper holder.
The restroom is a perfectly normal place for most sensible people. She only wants to cheer her friends up, but that doesn't mean they won't tease. Her cheeks flush with embarrassment as she holds out the strip of 8
Not a
winning
bad place
tickets.
to get murdered.
If getting back to nature is your thing.
Hey Stu, hi Raiders, welcome on in. How was your stream? How y'all doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're an ad. It's an ad. I'm sorry. The bad timies. I will welcome you all after the ad so that I can talk to you all. It's only enough for a cheap keychain, but they're out of money, so they hit up the cashier. Oh.
How's it going?
The same as your arcane machine's repairs.
The cashier only sniffs. Oh, you mean we can't buy a game pod with our 8? Where's the... $18.86 Cops baseball card set, 40 winning tickets. Price almost slumped since everyone rushed to buy them a few years back, hoping to sell them at a profit later. Brian's personal collection is only missing the 1986 and 84 sets. He'd love this. We only have 8. Cube, 35 winning tickets. A good but hard puzzle. Michael loves stuff like that. He'll probably solve it in 15 minutes. Magic Ball, 50 winning tickets. A magic ball. Ashley would love this toy. She believes in fortune telling and horoscopes. Game Pod, 10,000 winning tickets. The best prize ever. The boy's wildest dreams. I wonder how long you'd have to play to win this many tickets. Slinky, 20. A red Slinky, American Golden Oldie. You can perform lots of simple tricks with it. Eva's brother promised her younger brother she'd get one just like this. Old VHS tape, no price tag.
What is this crap?
The cashier turns around, surprised.
No idea. Someone must have left it here. Y'all can just take it since you spent all your cheddar on Pumpkin Man anyway. Maybe it's a movie or something.
But what if the owner comes for it?
It's already been here all week. Doubt nobody needs it. Besides, visitors forget stuff here all the time. Y'all want to see my cap collection?
No thanks.
She snatches up the cassette and hides it in her bag. Brian hands the cashier his tickets.
Just give it to the next poor sucker who dares punishes himself with that crappy pumpkin game. Tell him he's not alone in this world.
We feel his pain. The guys head for the exit, but suddenly the cat leaps off the chair and rubs against Eva and Ashley's legs. No longer displeased, Lucy swishes her tail excitedly and gazes affectionately at the teenagers. You'd never guess she looked like a bristling hedgehog just half an hour ago. Okay, ads are over. Welcome in, everyone. How you all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you going today, Stu? How was Slay the Spire? Are you absolutely loving it? People seem really obsessed with it at the moment. But for anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Fee. I'm a variety streamer from Australia. My pronouns are they, Faye, and we are playing Pink Noise. It's too addicting. Hell yeah. That's what we love to hear. Her nose twitches as if she's caught a whiff of her favorite food.
Silly cats. It's me and Michael who deserve some compassion after what that game did to us.
Never mind. We got much more than expected.
Eva pats the bag joyfully.
And what would that be?
A secret.
A bad sign. Did you play a lot of the first Slay the Spire? Most of the signs are already off, submerging the thickets, basements, and narrow alleyways in darkness. It splashes out onto the square, engulfing it in the blackness. Only a few pickups and locked bicycles are still around, all parked by Marshall Sue's bar. The wind sweeps over the fields. The element that usually toys with the harvested corn now moans forlornly, oh my gosh, plunging the suburb into melancholy. Winter will change everything. Stores and bars will be strung with sparkling beads of colourful lights, and the snow will smooth the wrinkles and scars of old Riverwood. The town will take on a deceptively pretty and cosy facade. As a kid, Michael loved strolling around there during Christmas vacation, munching on hot pies and watching snowflakes fall through the thick windows of the coffee shop. Back then, he never noticed the aging buildings, the chipped concrete, or the gloomy people trying to fake a smile. In autumn, however, the suburb's floors stand out more sharply. It looks unwelcoming, grey, lifeless. No wonder Eva calls it the season of ghosts. Just thinking about it gives him the creeps.
Well, we're late. Granny and Grandpa will be upset.
If that's the worst that'll happen, then you may as well stay out a little later.
Eva pulls out the cassette and looks it over.
What do you think? Is there anything on it?
It looks like a personal archive of a maniac who killed a lot of people and recorded their achievements for their descendants to watch. A comfy basement, hooks, candles.
Or an auto shop with a buzzsaw and a big meat freezer.
The friends pass through the town square towards a scattering of newer houses. This area doesn't have as much junk lying around as the park does. The residents here are relatively wealthy. Eva's father once mentioned that most of his customers lived around here. They always needed new furniture, doors, sturdy boards for fresh construction. Nothing bad can happen in a place like this. But horror movies convinced Eva otherwise. Quiet, affluent neighborhoods are exactly where the creepiest things happen. No one expects them there, so prey can be easily captured, warm and unaware.
What if the cassette is cursed?
Please. I bet it's that freak cashier's home video. He's probably posing in a French maid costume.
That's what gets you off, Ashley? Okay. They reach Ashley's driveway. It boasts a large yard with plenty of space for a treehouse, a pool, and a heated shed. Fancy houses like that always looked alien in Riverwood, like jamming a few expensive implants into a row of rotten teeth. The suburb is in no hurry to accept them, but over time it will wrap them in its shore of mist and drizzle, engulf them in vines and weeds. It will be years before they truly belong. For now, the house's red-tiled roof still gleams. The pavement has not yet cracked or sprouted fresh shoots of dogged grass, and the building has not yet sagged beneath the weight of the passing years. The only light on is her parents' bedroom upstairs, which means Ashley will have to make her own dinner and have it cold.
Ash, you have an old VHS player in your shed, don't you?
Yeah, but I should have gotten rid of it after you bought that creepy Italian movie about ballerinas.
They pause by the decorative fence. Eva keeps touching her bag as if making sure their consolation prize is still safe. Ashley might have acted overdramatic, but truth be told, she'd enjoyed that movie too. She even tried to recreate some of its ballet pas. Watching horror movies with friends was a special kind of thrill. You felt less scared but had way more fun. You'd notice something you missed before, discuss the details, and figure out who feared what.
How about it? Wanna watch? I ain't gonna sleep till I know what's on it.
The boys don't mind. They're eager to shake off the sting of defeat in the arcade center. So badly that they'd prefer getting in trouble all over again for coming home late. Ashley just shrugs and heads for the shed. As far as the friends are concerned, Ashley's shed is the best and coziest place in the whole suburb. They spent most of their evenings in there in winter, when there's nowhere else to hang out and a high risk of being targeted by the high schoolers' snowballs. There's plenty of space for board games and fooling around. They can be as loud as they like, and Ashley can always bring them snacks or soda from home. Her father originally planned to turn the place into a man cave, complete with a couch and big TV, but he's been overwhelmed with work lately, so most of the time the friends are free to use the shed. But that day, they aren't alone. Chris, Ashley's older brother, is already inside, lying on a shabby carpet playing a new console. Only as they entered does Ashley remember that Chris is grounded for coming home drunk from a party. He isn't allowed to see his friends for a month, but some of his buddies must have lent him the gaming console so he won't get too bored at home alone. As the front door squeaks open, he swiftly hides a pack of cigarettes under a pillow.
It's just you suckers. I thought Daddy showed up and was about to teach me how to live again. What you doing up here? Baby Ashley decided to show you our true family treasures?
The shed is filled with dated furniture living out its last days, and unused equipment covered in dust, plus other miscellaneous items that the family are too lazy to get rid of. Ashley's family is rich enough they don't need to sell all their old junk, so a lot of it has been stuffed into the shed. Hey Ally, how you doing? Congrats on the early. The old motorcycle. What? That's not a motorcycle, that's a lawnmower, isn't it? About 3 years ago, before Ashley and Brian started dating, Brian saddled it up and drove it to the creek. Ashley burst into laughter and Brian was banned from visiting Ashley's house. It seems the ban still hasn't been lifted. The funny scarecrow from the Bennett's field. Ashley asked Chris to steal it after the Bennett's youngest daughter lost her doll. It's hard to believe, but Eva saw the scarecrow moved on its own. Chris's battered punching bag. Someone must have thrown hatchets and darts at it. An antique mirror. Little Ashley loved looking in it and imagining she was a Disney princess. Eva would barely glance in the mirror. She was 110% convinced that Bloody Mary would come out of it if she wasn't careful. An archaic Atari Pong console. Ashley's father played it as a teenager, but the only controller broke long ago, and so did the console itself. Chris retrieves the cigarettes and pulls a cigarette out with his teeth. Brian notes the trick so he can try it later. It looks thrilling. He doubts his attempt will look as natural as Chris's did, but it's worth a little practice. Allergies being annoying, but still good. Oh, well, I'm sorry that your allergies are being a butt. What if he manages to impress the high schoolers or the guys from the neighboring town's baseball team? Taunting opponents and getting on their nerves is a time-honored tradition. Brian imagines himself strolling past them, deftly pulling out a cigarette, then smirking and asking why they sent a team of sissies to the game.
Don't you have to stay in your room and feign remorse?
And what about you? Shouldn't you be catching Z's, not wandering around in the dark? Or you want to see who can disappoint our parents the most?
He exhales a ring of blue smoke. The winner is clear.
No. Unlike you, I care about my future. We just want to watch a cassette. Why don't you just go do something else for a bit? We need the TV.
As if. Get out of here, kids.
He turns to the TV and keeps playing.
Don't be so pig-headed. We'll only take like 5 minutes.
Chris ignores Ashley. Instead, he just continues moving the bizarrely bright pixels across the screen. Eva knows neither force nor trickery will work on Chris. In that way, he and Ashley are alike. The harder you push, the harder they push back. But who says the truth can't be as useful as a lie, especially when it comes to something as mysterious and intriguing?
We have a secret cassette. The arcade center cashier gave it to us. No one knows what's on the tape, but I'm willing to bet it's not just silly cartoons.
Chris softens a little and puts the controller away. Eva is the only person who doesn't irritate him. He still can't understand why such a good girl hangs out with Ashley and her friends.
Alright, here's your hourglass then.
He whips out a new cigarette and lights it
When I
cinematically.
reach the filter, you stop wasting my precious time and piss off out of here. Yeah, and one more thing. If it's a movie for, adults, I'll take it.
Ashley's voice is practically poisonous.
Oh yeah? To throw it away and preserve our innocence, huh?
Of course not. To give to Sam and Bobby.
Sam and Bobby are real douchebags. Rumors of their wicked deeds are always flying around town. Ashley knows Chris is afraid of them, but he'd still do anything to get in their gang. He's constantly schmoozing them with free drinks and cigarettes. Chris turns to Michael.
Move your ass, Four Eyes. Turn the damn cassette on.
Michael shudders. He's never once used a VH player by himself, and his friends don't know that. His grandparents don't think electronics are worth their attention. They'd never waste their meager savings on such silly things. He breathes a quiet sigh of relief when Eva hops over to the TV and slides the cassette into the VHS player.
And now for the interesting part.
The curved, dusty screen produces a snowstorm of white noise. The speakers transmit a hoarse whistle like a mutilated parody of wind gusts. Eva's worried her friends might turn off the player at any point and head home, then she'll be left guessing what was on the tape. She doesn't want to watch it alone. With all his might, Chris is already acting bored. To him, the fact these kids have been scammed is clear as day. They'd probably buy a rotten pumpkin if you told them it talked on
You got a
Wednesdays.
blank tape? No surprise there. Sam would catch that cashier and give him a proper talking to.
Ashley gives Chris the side eye. He used to be different. He played sports. He'd never smoke or follow complete idiots who were only cool with even more dickheads like Peter.
It can't be blank. Hurry up and take your seats. We don't want to miss anything.
Eva settles down on one of the pillows next to Chris. The others sit on pillows and stare at the screen. The TV only emits a static blizzard and a horrible howling. The wind sweeps out the fields and descends on the suburbs, sneaking through the streets like a wild animal prowling for prey. It shoves the shed, making it sway and creak like a popping joint. Their only lamp flickers, casting shadows on the piles of garbage in the corners.
Is there any other light in here?
Next time, we'll hang an entire chandelier out here, just for you.
Chris wants to add something, but the picture on the screen finally takes shape. The black and grey static stripes morph into an image, taking on colours and shapes. One part becomes studio walls. Another changes into a decorated set of a Friday night show. The rest turns into the body of a game show host wearing a striped suit
They
jacket.
better fire that god-awful costume designer.
The host is half turned around and staring at the camera as if waiting for a director's signal to start, or trying to see the audience on the other side of the screen.
This should kick the musicians out of there too. What is this? Their first time playing instruments?
She nervously fiddles with her pendant. The sharp sound clearly caught her off guard.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome, my sweet and miserable guests, to the most unique, funniest.
The angle abruptly changes and the studio looks less bright and cheerful. The walls have lost their false gloss and bright hues. Half the spotlights go out, and those that remain are dim. But the host keeps
To the
smiling.
most unique, funniest, and scariest show on TV.
Friends exchange puzzled glances.
I bet my hand that this is something you've never seen before and will never see again. Sadly, I've got nothing left to bet. I ate my hand before the show.
What the hell? Somewhere in the background, canned laughter and applause rings out. The teenagers can certainly believe the host really did devour his hand before the show. His behavior is odd, his speech too dramatic. He keeps breaking into screams, choking on his cackling. Somehow, he manages to act both insane and cheerful and inappropriately gloomy all at the same time, depending on the angle the producer chooses.
Bullshit. What a waste of time.
No, wait, let's just watch a little longer. I've never heard of the show. How about we give it a chance?
Michael and Brian nod, staring intently at the flickering screen. The host, as if waiting for the verdict, steps back from the camera and holds his hands out in an inviting gesture.
So come on, take a seat, the broken and prideful.
The shot changes.
The reserved and those embracing everything new.
The shot changes.
The brave, cowardly, dependent, and free. Get comfortable. Enjoy!
The screen ripples. The host's voice dwindles, then deepens. It sounds muffled, as if emanating from a cellar filled with soil.
Yourself.
The picture dissolves into a rippled black and white mess, and a terrible crack bursts out the speaker.
And that's enough for today.
I'll fast forward it a little. What if there's something else here?
Eva jumps up from the pillow, but Chris stops
Slow down,
her.
Fury. The buttons jam. I'll do it.
Chris gets up and starts to go to the VHS player, but freezes halfway there. A faint knocking sound cuts through the static, as if someone's scratching and drumming their fingers against the other side of the screen. Chris turns around and opens his mouth as if to ask something, but bumps directly into an astonished Eva.
How's he doing it?
Doing what?
The static blizzard is still raging on the screen. Eva runs to the TV and stares deep into the black and white chaos. The noise pouring out of the speakers absorbs all other sounds, but it isn't hissing, cracking, or howling anymore, it's knocking. At first it's monotonous, but the knocking soon speeds up. It belts their eardrums like an old alarm clock, mercilessly rattling every morning. Eva shakes her head to drive away a nightmarish vision and rubs her face with her palms. But the knocking is still there. And Eva knows what's making it. It's a branch from the old hazel tree her father's been threatening to cut down for 2 years. Must again once have gotten its gnarled fingers caught on the windowsill. It scratches the window every time the wind blows. But today a true storm is raging outside. The rain lashes the window, covering it in dirty spots as hurricane-like gusts shake the hazel tree like a school bully shaking down a junior. Confused, Eva checks her bedroom. Everything looks usual there. The table and shelves are perfectly arranged, the bed carefully made. Even the posters are hanging in a strict line like an art exhibit. Eva loves it when everything is in place. Whenever her mother is overwhelmed at work, Eva and her father are left responsible for cleaning the house. The less you litter, the less you have to clean. A Tillandsia flower. It looks like it sprang straight out of the pages of a fairy tale. Fan gave it to her mother in an exhibition, and it's growing in a pot Ashley made during an extracurricular pottery workshop. The pot isn't the best, but Eva will never swap it out for another one. The book Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. Eva adored it as a kid. Now she's reading it to her younger brother. A fun fact is that Maurice Sendak is like a huge anti-fascist and wrote books about it, and they're very, very aggressive. We love that. We love it. A family photograph. It was taken the day Eva got her first braces. Tony was tiny back then, and their parents looked happy. Her mother wasn't absorbed in her art career yet. Back then she cared about her family more than canvases and print. A feather. Their parrot Sancho lived for 6 years. His loss was unbearable, so Eva still had one of his feathers as a keepsake. At first she couldn't handle looking at it. She burst into tears every time she saw it. VHS collection. There's a light mystery in the first row. Behind it are the slashes. The third row is reserved for Italian horror movies, marked with a strange word. Giallo. That's not a strange word, it's an Italian word. It's a style of cinema, and it is very fucking gory. Oh. And behind everything else, hidden in a Cinderella case, the creepy movie Necromancer is waiting for its time to shine. It's better if her mother doesn't know about it. Eva's head shoots up as she hears quiet steps approaching.
Tony?
Her brother's standing by the door, shifting from one foot to another and holding a thick cardboard cup with a string snaked through the bottom. The string writhes on the floor and coils through the hallway. His long-sleeved shirt with a pink dinosaur was Dad's gift from him last Christmas. Since then, Tony takes it only off at bedtime and for laundry. Lately, Eva's brother always looks a little confused, as though he's wandered into Eva's room by accident after getting lost in his own home. His big eyes hold a strange expression she can't quite explain or describe. No matter how much she talks to him, words are never enough. Even when all his most important questions are answered, Tony just comes up with new ones.
I fixed her thread. String telephone. Here. Yesterday I could barely hear anything.
Eva takes the cup and puts it on her
It's
nightstand.
time to go to bed, baby. When you're all set, pull the string twice and I'll read some bedtime stories for you.
She ruffles his hair and he happily runs back to his bedroom. They often talk to each other before bedtime because Tony isn't used to falling asleep alone. She has to chat with him, weave magical stories, retell movies and comic plots until he starts snoring. The string slowly tightens and lifts up from the floor, which means Tony's already in bed and ready to listen. Eva put the cup to her ear. She heard familiar creaks and rustle from the other side.
Can you hear me, Tony?
Loud and clear. I fell asleep today. By myself. Well, I almost did, but then a huge storm hit. Thunder. And something creaked in the closet, so well...
He doesn't finish. He's ashamed of his childish behavior, though he does his best to look brave for Eva. But blaming him for his fears would be foolish. Of course kids are scared when a storm is raging and thunder is crashing right outside, especially if their room is dark and windowless. It's easier for Eva. As a child, she learned to befriend her fears. She often left a bowl of milk or a handful of candy out in case a monster was lurking under her bed. Then it's not a monster anymore, but a little buddy rustling candy wrappers in the middle of the night. Tony isn't the same as her, though, and she has to accept that.
Then close your eyes and listen. I made up a new story.
They're surrounded by routine. She wants to calm Tony down the way she's used to wish her father sweet dreams, to leave a croissant for her mother in the kitchen so she'll remember not to drink milk or coffee on an empty stomach.
What's the story about? Is it scary? I don't really want to hear a scary story today.
No, it's a legend about a magical arcade machine that teleports brave and obedient kids into its world of adventures.
For some reason, amid the whirlwind of thoughts and images racing through her mind, she chooses an arcade machine, or rather, it chooses itself as if it were alive. It appears in her mind's eye in all its beauty, that black, oily luster and 2 scarlet buttons. Thanks for checking in, Red. I hope you're doing well today. But she can't present it to Tony as is. It needs to be wrapped in something brighter, lighter, and more mysterious. Her baby brother sighs with excitement.
It must be dangerous there. There are lots of monsters in games.
It's an adventure. It wouldn't be an adventure without monsters.
Without warning, someone opens the door. The string falls limp. Eva drops the cup and gasps. Her mother enters the room, tired, disheveled, and soaked in the odor of solvent, paints, and coffee. Perhaps she's worked too long again and remembers she missed dinner only after her dizziness and lower back pain reared up. She always complains about that to Eva's father.
Didn't hear you come home. Why are you up so late?
She glances at the cup rolling on the floor. Eva's mother can scarcely understand what her children are up to. What's all the late night storytelling for? Why can't Tony just go to bed and fall asleep? She's shocked every time one of them outgrows last year's clothes. Even now, surprise lights up her reddened eyes.
Again? He needs to learn to fall asleep on his own. Tell him to brush his teeth and go to bed right now. At least that will put these toys to good use.
Why does she have kids if she clearly doesn't fucking want them?
Of course, Mom. Tony's almost asleep. Oh, today was so long, but cool. We cleaned up the chemistry room, then we went to the arcade center, and then
Thank you for the luck.
Came back home.
I hope you're doing well today. Eva stops abruptly. Something's missing, something crucial, but she can't remember. And judging by her wandering gaze, her mother still hasn't returned from the world of images, shades, and episodes of other people's lives, all captured on canvas.
You know what? You're right. Tony ought to fall asleep without my chatter tonight. Good night, Mom.
She doesn't even get a smile in return. It's as if her mother's emotions have been drained out of her like water from a shattered vase. Perhaps they've settled on her canvases instead, leaving not a single drop for real life. Year after year, her work has devoured her, turning into a completely different person.
Good night, darling. I think I'm gonna have a cup of milk and go to bed too.
Mom going to bed? No, not her.
Eva knows her mother will go back to the workshop soon. She won't fall asleep until dawn, completely exhausted next to her easel. When her mother closes the door behind her, Eva picks up the cardboard phone and hangs it on the hook her dad had screwed in the wall specifically to hold it. The cup hardly even touches Eva's hands when the string tightens again.
Tony, go to bed. Mom just came and scolded us for chatting.
You promised me a story about an arcade machine.
Eva suddenly feels so exhausted that she can't fathom making up even the simplest story. Not even another yarn about the brave veggie kingdom she stuffed his ears since was childhood to teach him to love healthy food. As if she's inherited part of her mother's fatigue, Eva's eyes water from drowsiness and her legs go weak. Eva doesn't want to upset Tony, but it really is late. They should have been in bed long ago, and there's no better weather for curling up under a warm, cozy blanket. But Tony isn't about to let her go that fast. For him, it isn't just rain or lightning outside, it's a bloodthirsty creatures lurking beyond the walls. Only Eva's voice can keep their shadows from seeping through the air vents or the cracks in the plaster.
Getting back to nature is your thing.
Oh, I hit the wall. Welcome in, everyone. How you all going today? Oh my god, I gotta stop yawning. This is ridiculous. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Akiri. Hi, Chili. How you doing? Welcome in, Raiders. How was stream? I was a-lurking. The Goblin Cleanup. We love it. We love it. Did you have a good time? Welcome in, everyone. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Fee. I'm a variety streamer from Australia. And my pronouns are they, Faye. Today we're playing a psychological horror game called Pink Noise. It's fun. Did you do all the cleaning? Put that game on my wish list for ages. Should probably grab it at some point. It looks like a good time. I just want to play it with people though. No one will play with me.
Go to bed, little one. I'll come up with 2 adventures for you tomorrow, I promise.
Tony wants to protest, but the offer is too tempting. Sometimes he begs her to make up new stories about his favorite characters, but he mostly listens. Even exploded chili a few times? Fuck yeah. 2 whole stories waiting for him the next night? That feels like a fair trade for one night's peace. Besides, the thunder's already stopped splitting the sky, and now only the rain is rustling softly against the roof and grass outside.
Okay.
Sweet dreams.
It was retaliation without a real cause. Look, sometimes you just gotta explode some people. They probably deserve it. Akiri likes bomb traps. Valid. Bombs are fun. In the words of Minnie Mae Hopkins, explosions fix everything. She puts the cup away. Her eyelids seem very heavy, but strange thoughts still occupy her mind. Not even bothering to put on pajamas, Eva collapses on her bed and presses her cheek against the pillow. Today really was long and hard. So much happened. The outburst in chemistry class, cleaning, walking along the Riverwood Park, the shopping square and the arcade center.
What was next?
There's a blank space in her memory between the arcade center and coming back home. Fragments of phrases, merry, beeping music, a flickering light, and clouding it all, a black and white haze. Her lethargy, oh my god, her lethargy. Is it lethargy or lethargy? Because you say you're lethargic, but lethargy sounds wrong. I think it's lethargy. Her lethargy evaporates. Eva rolls onto her back and stares at the ceiling. Something definitely happened. I hope this game doesn't give me paranoia. It shouldn't do. But thank you for the lurk. And for anyone else that's come along with the raid, if you do need to raid and fade, please do so. We are a lurk-friendly space. Memory keeps slipping away, getting lost. Something important happened at the arcade center. It's clinging to her and her friends like a parasite, stubbornly pulling them into darkness and engulfing Riverwood. Like friends. Lethargy. That's what I thought. But when it's like an adjective rather than a noun, it's lethargic. You don't say lethargic. It's lethargic, but lethargy. That sounds right in my head. Of course, the old town has been keeping secrets for many generations. The ghosts of ancient church Eva's grandmother told her about, the cursed coin. The bodies buried in the foundation of the town hall. But those are just legends. No evidence of them has ever been found. She just needs to remember how she, Ashley, Brian, and Michael stepped into the arcade center, and then she hears a silent rustle next to her. The makeshift phone is crawling along the nightstand. Eva just manages to catch it before it falls. She quickly presses the cup to her lips.
Still awake?
A sickening, ear-splitting screech is the only response. Astonished, Eva can hardly suppress her scream. That sounded just like the electric timer in the art workshop attic. Her mum set up so the jarring sound would distract her from work every 3 hours. It reminds her there are other people living in the house who she should spend time with. But why was that shriek next to her baby brother? She doubts Tony took the timer to his room. Eva hurries to the room to check on him. The bed is empty. Eva throws up her hands. Tony rarely leaves his room at night. He always leaves a cup of water or milk on his nightstand before bed, so he won't have to go to the kitchen. And he would have passed Eva's room if he'd gone to the bathroom. If nothing else, she definitely should have heard his footsteps. There's only one other place where Tony and her mum's alarm clock would be at the same time. It isn't something he normally does, but she can't think of a better explanation.
What a silly boy. Why did you go to the workshop? He should know better. He'll have bad dreams if he looks at Mom's paintings.
They could influence even an adult's mind so terribly that there's always a nurse standby at her exhibitions, ready to tend to the most impressionable viewers. What the fuck is her mother painting? She said they were portraits of people. The thought of what Tony might see there horrifies Eva. She remembers how Ashley tossed and turned, unable to sleep after visiting the workshop during a sleepover, how she complained about nightmares afterwards. If her brother sees those paintings, she'll be up all night distracting him from anxious thoughts. As for the next day, not even 2 stories would be enough.
What's up with the radio silence?
Not a single sound comes from the other side of the toy phone. Eva doesn't like it when Mum scolds her, but she likes it even less when the one being scolded is Tony. And her brother is 110% going to be punished for going into Mum's workshop without permission. Eva creeps into the hall and peers around carefully. Only now does she notice that the string leads towards the attic entryway. It's hard to discern on the first try, as it's lying right in line with the baseboard. Eva timidly passes her parents' bedroom and hesitates by the stairs leading to the 2nd floor. Even there, a few of her mum's paintings, unpleasant to look at in the dim light, are hung on the walls. Eva's used to them, but Tony still rushes past the hall, sometimes shutting his eyes tight. Their father has been planning to take them down or move them somewhere else, but doesn't want to upset his wife. He has no idea how to bring up, so the image of a woman pressing her palms to her face is still staring in the corridor with white eyes. A black silhouette flits left side of the stairs. Hey May, how you doing? Welcome on in, lovely. How are you going today? Oh, I needed to set up a thing for you too, but wait, let me put that in there so I remember to do it later. Even the hydrate, stretch, and posture check. Oh no. That's not yawning. So I have to do a lot of reading. Being productive? Ooh. Sounds challenging. Oh, I actually have to click the button. Things to do on a Friday 13th. Imagine being productive. Couldn't be me. I slept till 5:30 this afternoon. Oh, good gracious. Water. Look, in fairness, I didn't get to sleep till like 10 a.m. It is Friday 13th. We had 2 of them in a row because February had one and it's only 28 days, so we get 2 back to back. It's very exciting. I know. What were the odds of that? Gotta enjoy these times. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Yeah. We are playing a visual novel called Pink Noise. They've only released the first chapter of it so far. It is an indie game about a what? Oh my gosh. About a group of teenagers who have found a videotape with a mysterious thing on it. Very mysterious, very dark, very Friday 13. Partnered press engine. The game key for this one was very kindly provided by the devs via press engine. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want to play it. So I requested the key in like December and it only came out last week. So I've been waiting and waiting. And it was finally here. And then I forgot it was out last week because I'd been waiting so long and I was like, sometime in March. Kind of memory hold it, but we're here. It happens. We're currently exploring through the house. One of the teens? Wonderful Miss Eva. Eva presses the cup to her lips and whispers,
Tony, go downstairs while Mom's in the kitchen. Alright, I'm coming up, but if Mom catches us both, I'll get in trouble first, and I'll have every right to be mad at you, Tony. Who knows? Maybe you won't be getting an ice cream this weekend.
Ooh, she bullying her baby brother now. She smiles and walks up the stairs. It's really hard to stay angry at her little brother. All over the stairs are slinkies of all colours. Tony's always playing with them on the stairs, racing them and setting them up like they're contestants. Do kids still play with slinkies? I had a slinky when I was in primary school in the 90s. It was rainbow coloured and star-shaped. But it wasn't an official slinky. It was like home brand slinky that I bought from Granny May's. Gotta do the lurky thing? You are absolutely welcome, and thank you so much for the lurk. Man, I love slinkies. I was never allowed to have like an official slinky because they were expensive. They were like the silver medal back in the day. Everything else was just a slinky like look-alike. Rabbit Mo, a stitched up teddy bear named Pig, and a shapeless stuffed owl Eva bought as an autumn fair. Whichever slinky wins spends the night in Tony's bed as a reward. But Tony usually carefully cleans up after himself every night and puts the slinkies back in their signed boxes. The mess he's left tonight is completely inexplicable. And Tony isn't on the stairs. The phone string is laced through the gap under the door at the top. That's a typo. Eva switches on the light on. A twisted light fixture flashes on, illuminating the workshop door and the sign hung on it. Inscription, "Keep out, nosy." The words are written with an extremely beautiful script. It says the nosy keep out, not keep out nosy. Anyway, her mother's handwriting, a funny sketch of a three-headed dog guards the door. Cerberus. Eva painted that hellhound 2 years ago when she was into Greek mythology. Her mother was delighted that her daughter liked painting too, but it was Eva's last drawing. The door opens with ease, letting Eva into a short, narrow hallway. The mother was usually scolding kids for coming in without permission. Eva had a rare chance to see new and failed works. But this isn't the kind of rule Eva's tempted to break. The older she gets, the less she cared about her mum's paintings. It isn't the framed nightmares she wants to see, but the person who creates them. The paintings make a lasting impression on everyone. Some are enchanting, others are frightening. Mum mostly paints people, or to be more precise, their emotions. Eva prefers paintings of magic, fairies and fantasies, or ordinary photographs. At least that kind of art doesn't make Eva wonder why an orphan who's just taken in by a family is crying amid their adoptive parents' shared joy, or why the wife of an unlucky worker is sad when he wins in a considerable sum of money. Taking a breath, Eva heads deeper into the workshop. The darkness thickens. It feels dense and sticky like a sweet jelly. With every moment that passes, it feels more distinct on the skin, tangling in her hair and staining her blouse in patches. The light switch next to a painting depicting hunger. As she reaches for the switch, Eva thinks about touching the cold, sallow skin of the dying girl in the picture. Meanwhile, a self-portrait of her mother, who looks more like a shriveled-up corpse than herself, rears back as if she's about to sink her loose teeth into Eva's fingers. The lamp flickers frantically, choked by the darkness. Dad promised to fix the wiring a month ago, but so far he's only opened up the breaker panel.
Timing.
Eva mumbles aloud just to hear the reassuring sound of her own voice, and to attract Tony's attention. Though her brother isn't naughty, sometimes he hides and waits for someone to find him, but only ever in his bedroom or Eva's.
Why in the world did he go to the workshop this late?
Eva begins to coil the string around her hand. The hope that it's all just a silly prank or childish game shields her from the darkest thoughts, and yet everything feels strange, wrong. It's nothing like she's used to. She wants the game to end with a stupid cry of boo from around the corner.
Tony must have hidden behind some old canvases or the curtain. There's nowhere else to hide in here, so finding him will be a piece of cake.
In the darkness, she trips over one of the paintings. Overcoming her unease, Eva realizes she's angry. At Tony, at Dad, at Mum, the house, that wretched workshop where you can't take a single step without tripping over some nightmare. It's like the frames, the rolled up canvases and the stools are throwing themselves under her feet on purpose. In the void, it depicts a broken woman who's lost her baby in childbirth. The heartbroken mother is sunk to the floor, wrapping her arms around her stomach. A pool of blood is spreading beneath her. The Nameless, an unfinished work. A happy woman is carrying a puppy wrapped in sheets. The Old Fisherman. It's a silhouette of an old man on a pier. If you look closely, you can see he has neither fishing rods nor other gear, only a single knife. The water around the old man's feet dispersing into the lake has a crimson hue. The fish have fed his family for years. Maybe he's decided to return the favor. Suddenly, Eva realizes there's something wrong with the paintings. Her mother usually paints people's features and facial expressions in intricate detail to convey the most valuable aspect of her art, emotions. But now the paintings are a mess of paint instead of faces, as they've been ruined by smearing them with wet palms.
Tony, you better come out. This isn't funny. Both of us are gonna be punished if Mom...
The string coiled around Eva's hand tightens.
Now to see where it leads.
Eva slowly paces through the workshop, feeling the pervasive blackness on her skin. Nameless, unfinished, spoiled paintings stare at her from corners, wall hooks and sloping shelves like abandoned children. Somehow, the disfigured faces are visible even in the gloom, as if Mom's added phosphorus to the paint. Seeing all those flickering silhouettes creeps Eva out. The fear crawls under her skin like hundreds of insects. It bites into her bones with its icy teeth and sucks out the heat. Welcome back, Brain. How you doing today? For a split second, a flash of lightning illuminates the room. Eva falls to the floor in shock. What she sees defies any logical explanation. The string, vibrating with tension, leads directly into a thick darkness clad in a gilded frame, like a pool of dark water swallowing the toy. The easel stands in the very center of the room, though Eva could swear it wasn't there a moment ago. It feels like the unfinished paint on the shelves closed in, the painted figure staring patiently at her. The string twitches and squirms in her grip, becoming harder and harder to hold with every second. Eva struggles to breathe. Fear floods her body, tightening around her limbs and tangling her thoughts. She hesitantly raises her eyes and looks into the deep, inky black painting. Instantly, a cold wave of air washes over her and a spray of tiny droplets hits her face. A bitter, biting wind flows from the bottomless canvas, its gusts carrying an icy drivel. The painting absorbs the light cast from the windows. Eva stares in horror at her hand as the ill-fated string cuts into it. For a second, she's tempted to get rid of it, chop it off with a knife. But what if it's the last thread connecting her to Tony? She dares not approach the painting. Doubts bombard her as the sticky fear muddles her mind. I didn't even get to click something. I'm going okay. I'm having a good day. It's Friday 13th. Happy Friday 13th. The longer Eva stares into the picture's black, bubbling deepness where the cup and string are sticking out like a fishing line with a hook at the end, the more it all looks like a wicked trap. Her words feel like nails being hammered into darkness, each one a betrayal. They tear her soul apart, burn her throat, tongue, and lips, but still she's uttered them. The fear, sharpened by common sense, is stronger than her love for her brother. Together, they're defenseless against the madness seeping through the workshop.
Get our parents, Tony. Stay quiet. And don't you dare come out if you're hiding in here.
Hands trembling, Eva unwinds the string and throws it away, abandoning the phone. Now she knows her brother truly went to the workshop instead of hiding in his room. He's an obedient boy and would never enter the workshop without Mum's permission. She shouldn't have either. She's just an older sister, a naive dreamer, not an exorcist capable of forcing such evil to retreat. She has no doubt this evil has already taken root in the house. Eva steps back. She doesn't want to turn her back to the picture after all. After all, what if a mysterious kidnapper is on the other side, just waiting to pounce, to seize an arm or a leg and drag her away? From the corner of her eye, she glances the other pictures that surround her. Being dragged into any of them would be an absolute nightmare. She's even less eager to guess what awaits her inside the black one. Perhaps her mother would like to paint such a scene. A naive child getting trapped. She's been deceived. The evil exploited her greatest weakness. Her love for her baby brother, her desire to protect him. And now she's face to face with unimaginable danger, shock, weak, shivering with fear, like a butterfly trapped in a jar, its needle and label already prepared.
If Mom painted emotions like this, she'd have even more fame and fans. But this is hopeless. I'm alive, not some nasty painting. And I can leave this place whenever I want.
A movement in her periphery catches her attention. Did the main character of the hero just move? It's one of the few works Mum has been criticized for. An old man in a washed-out military uniform confined to a wheelchair. A bedpan full of fetid substance sits on the floor next to him. No one is there to clean him up. No one is there to give him a glass of water or wash his greasy skin. He is alone, depressed, sick. The shadows of his dead friends and slaughtered enemies loom in the window. Rage, depression, and insanity entwine him. But there's no finding a way out. The old man looks at the window. Eva remembers his predatory profile, but now the shapeless mess that was once his face is turned towards her. Her skin crawls under its stare, like every other stare cutting through the darkness of the workshop. The painting's inhabitants are watching her, and many are no longer what they were a minute ago.
What woke them? What if they realized they're missing their prey and decided to reveal their true appearance? Or did those oily droplets from the black painting mutilate everything Mum created? That disgusting goop breathed life into them.
The young and the old, men and women, already frozen in unimaginable poses, are losing their natural appearance. Their arms grow longer, new joints contort their fingers, their legs bend in the wrong direction as if they're locusts, and the faces are contorted, unrecognizable. The crowd of ugly characters braces as if to pounce on her. Eva can't make them all out, only the veteran stuck in her head, but that just makes it scarier. In a moment, they'll be unleashed from their canvas crypts. The paint is transforming into blood, bones, flesh. The girl rushes to the workshop door, but it's jammed shut and the handle won't budge. She hears a canvas burst behind her, its frame cracking audibly. The painting's inhabitants have been set free. They don't make a sound, but from her periphery, Eva can see a revolting mix of revived characters heading towards her. They're in no rush. They know Eva has nowhere to run. Now it's their home. Something crashes to the floor with a heavy clang. It crunches and cracks rustily. The noise is getting closer and closer. The door surrenders and slams into the wall behind it. Eva rushes through and slams it shut behind her. Just for a moment, she feels safe from the nightmare bubbling up in the workshop, as though it's been locked in the other world. Then the door bursts open behind her. A crooked shadow falls across the wall like a stroke of black paint and begins gradually taking shape. It's even scarier than the one casting the shadow. The stairs at the end of the hall are steep enough to easily fall and smash your head, but Eva races down the stairs, heedless of how dangerous it is. The shadow follows her, slowly, inevitably. A suffocating stench overwhelms her. Dirty skin, unwashed clothes, sour urine, paint, solvent. It clogs her nose and stings her eyes. Eva wipes away her tears, barely managing to make it safely down the stairs. She only stops when she reaches the hall. She can hardly catch her breath. That's how fast her heart is racing.
Dad! Daddy!
Her scream sinks in the emptiness of the house like a stone falling in a deep well. No echo, no response. Not even a ripple. Only deathly silence.
Help me, Dad!
The walls devour every word.
Dad's sleeping too deep. Otherwise, he'd definitely hear me. And Mom, she must have fallen asleep by the coffee pot.
Eva clenches her fists helplessly. There's no time to rescue anyone. And the thought of being embraced by the very arms that painted all those horrors makes her stomach churn. Eva suddenly realizes that nobody really knows what kind of hidden paths a rare talent can tread down. It's no coincidence that her mother and her paintings grow more and more dismal every year, but Eva still holds out hope that this isn't intentional. Her mother loves her family, loves her children. Eva wants to believe that, but still, she's scared of running into the woman who started it
Mom
all.
must be in the kitchen. Otherwise, I would have already run into her here or in the workshop. I'll have to wake her up first, and then together we can...
A continuous squeak sounds on the stairs, the squeak of a huge gear that hasn't been oiled for a long time and covered with a rusty crust. This will be out in 30 seconds or so. It's followed by a heavy knock. The old man is approaching from the workshop, clinging to the railing. The veteran is even uglier outside the painting. Like wax, his flesh is melted and poured down his back, tethering to him to his wheelchair. Like a massive snail, he drags the mutilated body down the stairs. One glimpse of that monstrosity is enough to forget any exhaustion, panting, or headache. Eva rushes towards her parents' bedroom. In the dimness, she trips over the threshold and all but smashes her nose. But the pain of the fall hardly phases her. Just like she did after watching horror movies or creepy cartoons as a child, she rushes through the dark hall into her parents' room. Nowhere was safer than their bed. Laughing, her father would build a cozy pillow fort where she could hide from any ghosts or critters. Her father works nights and day, but never forgets about his kids. He tries to be their friend, supported them in everything, whether it's buying Eva an expensive camera or getting Tony yet another slinky to add to the collection. Eva remembers the trip she took with her friends to the farm by the lake. Even the drive was an adventure when her dad was there with them. He's the linchpin that links the whole family. Steady, reliable, just like the things he crafts in his workshop. Who can save them now if not him?
Dad's here. He's strong. He'll scare the monsters off and protect me.
How doesn't matter, she just wants to snuggle up to someone close, warm, alive. Someone without the otherworldly stench.
Daddy? He must be somewhere here. Even if Mom's still sitting in the kitchen, he's definitely catching Z's now because he gets up for work at 5 a.m. Dad? Where are you?
Eva grabs the bed and pulls herself up. But the bed is empty. Above it, a big painting hangs on the wall, made by Mum specifically for some weirdo from Central Europe. He hadn't approved of the way she depicted his gracious relatives, so he refused to pay full price. Eva used to like that picture compared to Mum's other's work, but today there was something wrong with it. The aristocrats sitting sadly at the dining table are examining not their empty bronze plate, but the bed, as though their main course lies outside the confines of their world. Their eyes are hungry, probably imagining that whatever it is will look beautiful stuffed with onions and wild garlic at the center of their table. Thought chills Eva's blood. If her dad was here, they'd definitely drag him in. There went a crackle. The servant hunting for a pair of brash rats suddenly twists and steps forward. His traits change, his arms get longer, his shoulders wider, his mouth gapes, opening up to a horrible size. Hi, Haru, welcome on in. He's leering at Eva. The other guests stare at her as well. Obviously, they don't care what's on their plate. They only care about satisfying the starvation their artist rewarded them with. Shrieking, Eva races back to the hallway. Luckily, the old man is still rattling down the stairs, dragging his heavy chair with him.
Who to look for first?
Well, that. I clicked the thing, but it's not like The storeroom communicated with the garage. The roller shutters got jammed the previous winter, so her dad had been parking the car in the driveway near the house, but there was still an emergency generator in the garage.
Where Dad went. He must have gone to start the generator when the power went out.
That thought even made Eva smile. It's almost ironic that the faulty wiring that will save her father's life. After all, every time the electricity turns off, he usually curses the incompetent electricians and swears he'll kick a few asses. Now he must have once again dragged himself out of his warm bed and into the cold garage. Eva can only imagine how thrilled he'll be when he realizes what saved him from the creatures lurking in the painting above his bed. Eva heads to the storeroom. Dad can protect her from any kind of monster. He'll take an axe or a crowbar off his tool rack, and then the painted critters won't be so scary. She only regrets that there are no weapons in the house, but on the other hand, Eva's father is skillful enough to turn all kinds of tools into makeshift weapons. And that's bad news for anything that tries to harm his wife and kids. Would paint thinner not work since these things are all paintings? A surge of confidence rushes back. She finally knows what she needs to do to survive. All she has to do is reach the garage and tell Dad about the workshop and the monsters. He'll believe her, she's sure of it. Together they'll find Tony and Mum and get out of this dreadful house. The breezeway is always half empty, only the washing machine squeezed in a corner and her father's old uniform collecting dust on a hanger. She's not even halfway through the room when the light suddenly flashes on. The house freezes and falls silent. As a menacing growl emanates from the garage. She always imagined rusty parts rolling around inside the generator, making it wheeze and cough like an old man. But once Eva's father starts it, the sound always changes, becoming steady. The fact that her father keeps reviving the ancient machine again and again is nothing short of a miracle. Eva's mother calls it man's triumph over both technology and common sense, urging him to simply buy a new one. But her husband only proudly declares that he hasn't squeezed the last drop of oil out the old one yet.
He started the generator.
She wants to scream for joy as if it could wake the entire house from this nightmare.
Daddy, it's me! Wait, I'm coming down to you now.
No reply, but the generator's probably just drowning everything else out in the garage. Beaming, Eva runs down the stairs and looks around, searching for her father. But her glimmer of hope, barely glowing in the boundless darkness, fades fast. The house has become a hunting ground. It's naive to think a mere human, even one with a crowbar or an axe, stands a chance against the creature that have escaped those horrid paintings. Eva suddenly feels like a foolish, overconfident girl. No one is going to wait for her to find Mum, Dad, or Tony. The monsters will come and take everything she loves. And they'll take her too, defenseless, terrified, cornered, because in the end, all Eva has is her fantasies.
Dad? How is that possible?
The generator trembles and coughs, choking on gasoline. Her father's gripping the thick handle with all his might, but his head and other arm... Now it's clear why Dad didn't call back or warn her of the danger. The garage reeks of blood. Pain saturates the air, thick enough to feel on her skin. Charcoal black darkness smears the walls and collects in the corners and sways under the ceiling. Another trap, summoned by her mother's brush from some unknown abyss, has snapped shut. Eva can only stare, unable to believe that her father crafted the very frame that now holds his undoing. The painting, another damn painting they can't hide from. This one's never been for sale. Her parents love it because it reminds them of their family's story. In it, a younger version of her parents are hugging, standing in the middle of a furniture workshop Dad's just bought and has now been toiling away in for 15 years. Externally, the picture is unchanged. There's nothing frightening about it, but it's still dragging her father into its depth, and he's losing the strength to find it fast.
Hold on, Dad! I won't let go!
Eva clings to her father's arm and pulls so hard it all but breaks her fingers. Together they manage to escape the painting's monstrous grasp and drop to the floor. Dad slowly gets to his knees, exhausted. His eyes are bulging and red, watering from fear and unbelievable pain. He tries to speak but can't. Something has turned his jaw into a mess of bones, teeth, and flesh, and there's a hole ripped right into his cheek. He can only mumble. His eyes roll like he might faint at any second. Even making a clipped gesture towards the door costs him unbearable pain. His breath comes in wet, sobbing gasps. No human ought to make such sounds or endure such agony. Yet heedless of his injuries, all he wants is to save Eva's life. So he forces the word out again, clearer this time, though his body is trembling from strain and agony. Eva timidly pulls his hand, but Dad pushes her away, as if afraid to infect her with his pain and despair. He can neither do nor say anything. His face softens, and he collapses, unconscious. At that very moment, the generator sputters one last time and goes silent, leaving the garage at the mercy of the monsters. And the picture changes. Suddenly, her painted parents are surrounded by rusty cutting and milling machines, racks of blanks and other junk. Creepy hooks hang from the beams. One, like a predatory snake, dives out to attack her lifeless father. The hook sinks into his flesh with a sickening sound and twists deeper. It catches on his ribs, cracking them, dragging its prey across the floor. Eva rushes out of the garage. On shaking legs, Eva runs out into the hall and freezes on the spot, completely powerless. She can't even scream or cry, only observe the madness conquering the house. The old man's head is sticking out around the corner next to the stairs, but he isn't looking at Eva. His eyes are glued to the window. On the other side of the glass, the living shadows from the wicked painting the hero are swaying. The details are blurred, but Eva imagines their military uniforms are dirty and torn, exposing fragments of bones and burnt flesh. Fly larvae cling to their forever still eyes, and muddy water pours out of their distorted mouths. She can't wait any longer. In a moment, the man will notice and try to drag her into his painting, finding salvation from his eternal loneliness. Eva dashes to the front door, not looking back. The keys are always hanging on a decorative holder her father made at work. It's an exact replica of their house, crafted with love and attention to every detail. The key is right in its place. It takes a second for Eva to notice someone's added another key to the keyring, absolutely unfamiliar and outlandishly shaped, but she doesn't waste time thinking about it. Her hands convulsing, Eva slides the key into the keyhole. The creaks and rumbles behind her are getting closer. The key turns with ease, almost as if the door is opening by itself. Eva hastily steps into the rain, the wind, the sky, freedom. But then something hot, sticky, and rough seizes her left wrist. Eva rushes forward, but the thing's grip doesn't weaken. The huge beast shifting through the darkness is not about to let her leave. Fresh air blows in Eva's face, sweeping away the stench of this cursed house. Whimpering, she looks back. A loose, greasy mass lies in the middle of the hallway. The blackness covers the monster's wet skin like soot. The monster is clutching its cheeks and stretching them apart, turning its maw into salivating abyss. Its limbs stick out from its back at horrifying angles. An undigested crimson head is visible in the depths of the beast's bottomless throat. Who is that? Eva doesn't want to know. Mesmerized, she stares at the revolting tongue wrapped around her wrist, slowly dragging her back to its body. Eva grabs the sharp keys and holds them like a knife in her fist. Crossing that invisible line where the fear of death consumes reason, where the prey for a fleeting moment becomes more dangerous than the predator. Eva looks at the hideous monster right in the eyes. She raises her hand, slicing through the air, drives the keys down into its tongue.
Get the hell away from me, you filthy freak!
The monster shakes and shrieks in pain. Scenes from countless movies pop into her mind. It's never enough to simply drive a weapon into an enemy. You need to cut it, tear it apart, inflict awful wounds. Eva hammers the key into the disgusting thing, yanks him back out. The supple flesh bursts, showering her in crimson slime. The maimed tongue falls to the floor, leaving a wet trail in its wake. It's sucked back into the massive monster's mouth. Eva rushes to the door. The rain wraps her like a rustling blanket, absorbing her. There's nothing around but a fluttering of droplets and a strange crackling sound. Eva suddenly realizes she's back sitting in the shed. All she sees is a TV screen bubbling with static noise. Oh. Whoa. Damn. Okay. Ow. Okay. Holy shit, besties. Dang. Wow. Well, they have only released the first chapter, so that was it. What do we reckon the key is for, though? And are her parents gonna be okay when she gets home? Are they still going to be there? What about her little brother? Ooh. Also, I noticed throughout the game there were some purple words that were highlighted in there. So I'm kind of curious what those will be for, or if they were just real world things that they're referencing, because they kind of gave that impression as well. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was well done. I thought it was interesting. I'm vibing with the story. It's good. The problem that I had was that there were 2 moments during the game where you have to press A on the controller to continue dialogue, right? There's no indication of when a dialogue has ended or where it's going to continue. So I pressed A and skipped a choice that it offered me. There were 2 separate choices and I have no idea what either of them were. One of them was when she reached the black painting in the attic, and the other one was right before she stabbed the thing in the mouth with the keys. So I'm assuming I picked to stab it with the keys and that's what got us free of it. But I would have liked to have actually seen the fucking options rather than the game just through. Like, that's a slight point of frustration to me. But otherwise, I really enjoyed the game a lot. I thought the story is really well done. The characters, they're just teenagers, right? Like, I think you can call them bratty or whatever, but they're teenagers. They're literally children, and that's actually okay and normal. Like, they don't have to be these paragons of justice and whatever else, so I thought they were fine. I am curious as to whether the paintings in the house really are as bad, not in the haunted form, but in general, as they were in the TV version of them. Although her friend did get nightmares from looking at them, so maybe they really are. But also, if that version of her mother was that actually extreme IRLs, or if that she's a caricature because it was something she saw on the TV. That was Eva's story. Do we think that the brother and sister, was it Ashley and Chris? Do we think Ashley and Chris are going to share a story, or will they be 2 separate ones? I don't know. Either way, I really enjoyed it. I thought that was a really well-made story. It was gripping. It was fairly well written. There were places where the writing felt exactly like the sort of stories that I was reading in high school. It reminded me of like Isabel Carmody, I don't know how many of y'all are readers of Australian YA, as they call it now. It was not called YA when I was at school. It was just you had kids and you had adults, and then you had these semi-adult books for kids, but there was no sort of real, like, there wasn't a teen section. Actually, we did have teen stuff in the school library, at least. I feel like calling it teen instead of young adult might actually go a long way to people stop treating teenagers as if they are adults and expecting them to make adult choices about. Anyway, sorry, tangent. Isabel Carmody is an Australian author. She's also an activist, I found out later in life. Like, she's like spent every single day for a month or something standing in the steps of Parliament House in Brisbane, protesting stuff and things. So she's a very cool person, but she's a fantasy author and wrote a series called The Chronicles of Obernewton, which were really, really fantastic and brilliant. But she had this one book called The Gathering, and I still, to this day, like, I read that when I was like 13, and I still have a copy of it. And to this day, it is one of my absolute favorite books. It's a dark teen fantasy about a boy at a school. He's at a new school and there's something weird going on. A lot of it's set at night. It's very paranormal, supernatural type stuff. But it was so brilliantly written and so vivid, and it really impacted me a lot as a kid. And the type of writing and the way that she wrote that reminds me of this in places. Some of the descriptions are really well done in this game. The opening setting where it was describing the town brought me a lot of joy because it was really quite vivid. And even though you had pictures on the screen to help reinforce that, the writing on its own would have stood out. You could read that in a book and know exactly what this town was and what those buildings were and who these kids were. It was quite very well done. There were other places. I think the dialogue may have been the weaker part of the writing for it, where it got a little, I don't know, slightly corny. But I think overall the writing was actually done incredibly well for it. It's a really cool story. I can't wait for chapter 2. I don't know when that's coming though. I don't think they actually said on their page anywhere. Okay, so the achievements I got from this, I saved Eva. Apparently only 45% of people saved Eva. Only 28% of people chose to follow Dad, but that seemed like the obvious thing. Only 45% of people told the truth to Chris. Only 33% of people chose to hit the monster with the keys. Ignorance is bliss. We ran away from the workshop. So that was one of the choices that I don't remember actually making. Therefore, I think that was, yeah, one of the ones that sort of switched over. There's another option to stay in the workshop. You can kill Eva. You press the wrong buttons during the QTE. There hasn't been a QTE. There's another one for lying to Chris, one for following Mum. You try to free your hand from the monster. You survived all 3 levels in Pumpkin Man. That's never gonna fucking happen, is it? Predictor, you chose the ball. Yeah, so I think we must go back to it later. You unlocked all story paths in episode 1. Wait, these are all achievements for episode 1? It wouldn't let me pick. Oh, we would have had to have won at Pumpkin King to get the... Okay. Pumpkin Man. Yeah, okay, so you would have had to done that to get the bits and pieces. Interesting. You chose the Coops card. Well, we didn't have any of that. You found the first pug? What pug? You chose to follow little brother. Where was that an option? Maybe that's later. You found the secret mini game? Bruh. Okay, so there's a lot of achievements. So I think this is something I'll probably dive into again off stream for that first chapter. Have time to hang for a few minutes. Welcome in, Time Lord. How are you doing today? Good to see you. I'm going well, thank you. How are you? For folks that are watching this on YouTube, this is where this video is going to wrap up because it's the end of the game. And that's all we have for here. So if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate you. We'll see you in the next game.